Nathan Reynolds had everything most people prayed for: a beautiful home, a stable career, a woman who had stood beside him for nearly 10 years, a bright 6-year-old daughter whose laughter could melt the hardest heart. Yet every night, as he stared at the ceiling after everyone had fallen asleep, he felt something he was ashamed to admit. He was grateful, but he wasn't truly in love. His longtime partner, Melissa, was everything a man could ask for. She was loyal, patient, hardworking, and kind. She supported Nathan when he had no money, encouraged him when he wanted to quit his job, and celebrated every achievement as if it were her own. She never demanded expensive gifts. She never embarrassed him. She never gave him a reason to doubt her. She loved him completely. Together, they had their daughter, little Ava, who adored her father more than anyone in the world. Every morning she would run into his arms shouting, "Daddy!" Every evening she waited by the window for his car. Nathan loved his daughter with every piece of his heart. He also cared deeply for Melissa, but caring and being in love were not the same. That difference haunted him. He hated himself for feeling it. Whenever he looked at Melissa smiling across the dinner table, guilt wrapped around his heart. She deserved someone who loved her the same way she loved him. Instead, she had a man who stayed because of loyalty, comfort, history, and the family they had built. Nathan often convinced himself that love could grow. Maybe butterflies didn't matter. Maybe real relationships were built on commitment instead of passion. For years, he buried those thoughts and focused on being the best father and partner he could be. Then everything changed. Nathan attended a business conference for his company. He almost didn't go. Melissa even ironed his suit before he left. "You're going to do amazing," she said, kissing his cheek. "I'll bring you something nice." "You don't have to." "I want to." She smiled. "Just come home safely." Those simple words stayed with him. If only life had remained that simple. During one of the conference breaks, Nathan accidentally bumped into a woman carrying 2 cups of coffee. One spilled across the floor. "Oh no," she laughed. "I'm so sorry," Nathan said, quickly grabbing napkins. "It's okay." They both reached for the same napkin. Their eyes met. For a brief second, everything around them disappeared. Her name was Jasmine Carter. She had warm brown eyes that sparkled when she smiled. She wasn't just beautiful. She carried herself with confidence and kindness. Instead of being upset about the spilled coffee, she joked about how clumsy she was. Nathan laughed harder than he had in months. They ended up sitting together during the afternoon seminar. Conversation came naturally. They talked about books, travel, music, family traditions, childhood memories. Every topic flowed effortlessly. Nathan couldn't remember the last time he'd connected with someone so easily. When the conference ended, they exchanged numbers. "It was really nice meeting you." "You too."
As Nathan drove home, he kept replaying the conversation in his head. He felt alive. Then he looked at the passenger seat. There was the gift he had bought for Melissa. Guilt hit him like a truck. For weeks, Nathan ignored Jasmine's messages. He knew where that road could lead. He refused to walk it. But one evening she texted, "Hope you're doing well." He stared at the screen, then typed back, "I've been busy, sorry." That one reply became another conversation, then another. Soon, they were talking every day. Nathan never intended for anything inappropriate to happen. He simply enjoyed talking to someone who understood him. Jasmine made him laugh. She challenged his opinions. She encouraged his dreams. She celebrated his accomplishments. She listened without judgment.
Months passed before they met again. This time, it wasn't a conference. It was lunch. Lunch became coffee. Coffee became evening walks. Evening walks became dinners. Nathan knew he was crossing a line. Every night he returned home carrying invisible guilt. Melissa would ask, "Long day?" "Very." She'd massage his shoulders, cook his favorite meal, smile without suspicion. Each act of kindness made Nathan feel worse. One afternoon, Jasmine looked directly into his eyes. "I have to ask you something." Nathan felt nervous. "What is it? Are you seeing someone?" His heartbeat sped up. He had promised himself he'd tell the truth if she ever asked. He took a deep breath. "I am." Her smile faded. "You have a girlfriend?" "Yes." She remained silent. Nathan continued. "We've been together for years." Jasmine nodded slowly. "Are you married?" "No." "Children?" Nathan closed his eyes. "I have a daughter." Silence filled the room. Jasmine stared at the table for what felt like forever. Finally, she whispered, "I wish you had told me sooner." "I know. I wouldn't have let myself fall for you." Nathan looked away. "I never planned this." She laughed sadly. "No one ever plans this." Tears filled her eyes. "I feel like I've become the woman I promised myself I'd never be." Nathan reached for her hand. She gently pulled it away. "I need time." For several weeks, Jasmine disappeared. No texts, no calls, nothing. Nathan realized just how deeply he had fallen for her. He missed everything. Her laugh, her honesty, her voice, her presence. Meanwhile, life at home continued. Melissa happily planned Ava's birthday party. Nathan helped decorate the house. He smiled in family photos. He played games with his daughter. Anyone looking from the outside would have called them the perfect family. Only Nathan knew how divided his heart had become.
One rainy evening, Jasmine finally called. "I've been thinking." Nathan held his breath. "I shouldn't be doing this." "I know. But I love you." Those 4 words shattered every wall Nathan had built. "I love you too." Neither of them spoke for several seconds. Jasmine finally asked, "Do you love her?" Nathan answered honestly, "I care about her deeply." "That's not what I asked." He closed his eyes. "I don't think I'm in love with her anymore." One rainy evening, Jasmine finally called. "I've been thinking." Nathan held his breath. "I shouldn't be doing this." "I know. But I love you." Those 4 words shattered every wall Nathan had built. "I love you too." Neither of them spoke for several seconds. Jasmine finally asked, "Do you love her?" Nathan answered honestly, "I care about her deeply." "That's not what I asked." He closed his eyes. "I don't think I'm in love with her anymore." Against their better judgment, they continued seeing each other. Nathan never treated Jasmine like a secret fling. He respected her, listened to her, supported her career, encouraged her dreams. He made her feel valued. That only made everything more painful. Jasmine wasn't trying to steal him. She never pressured him to leave Melissa. Instead, she kept saying. At home, Melissa began noticing subtle changes. Nathan smiled less. He worked later. He seemed distracted during conversations. Sometimes she caught him staring into space with sadness in his eyes. One night, she gently touched his hand. "Are you okay?" Nathan forced a smile. "I'm just tired." She squeezed his fingers. "You don't have to carry everything alone." Her kindness pierced his heart. He wanted to tell her everything. He wanted to confess. But fear stopped him. Fear of losing his daughter. Fear of breaking Melissa's heart. Fear of losing Jasmine. Instead of making one difficult decision, he made none at all. And that, without realizing it, became the biggest mistake of his life. Nathan's silence became heavier with every passing day. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't angry. He wasn't cruel. He was simply absent. His body was home, but his mind wandered elsewhere. Melissa noticed at first. She would ask about his day, and he would answer with one-word responses. She would tell him funny stories about Ava's school, but he barely laughed. Sometimes she caught him staring at his phone, before locking it quickly whenever she entered the room. She wanted to believe it was work. Deep down, however, a quiet voice whispered that something was wrong. She prayed that voice was lying. One Saturday morning, Melissa planned a family picnic. Ava bounced around the house in excitement. "Daddy, hurry! Mommy packed my favorite sandwiches." Nathan forced a smile. "I'm coming, princess." For a few hours, everything felt normal. They played football. They laughed. Nathan pushed Ava on the swings until she squealed with joy. Melissa watched them with a smile, believing that perhaps the distance between them was finally disappearing. She rested her head against Nathan's shoulder. "I've missed this." Nathan looked at her but couldn't answer. His heart ached. She deserved a man whose heart was completely hers. Instead, half of it belonged somewhere else. Meanwhile, Jasmine was grown tired. None of loving Nathan. She was tired of waiting. Waiting for phone calls. Waiting for promises. Waiting for tomorrow. Waiting for a decision that never came. One evening, she sat across from Nathan in their favorite cafe. "I need to ask you something." Nathan already knew. "When?" He looked down. "I don't know." She nodded. "I expected that answer." "I'm trying." "No." She shook her head gently. "You're avoiding." Nathan rubbed his forehead. "You don't understand." "I understand more than you think." She leaned forward. "You aren't choosing between two women anymore." He frowned. "What do you mean?" "You're choosing between honesty and comfort." Those words struck him harder than any accusation ever could. She continued quietly. "Melissa deserves the truth." "So do I." "So do you." Nathan couldn't argue. Everything she said was true. That night, Jasmine cried herself to sleep. Not because Nathan was a bad man, because he wasn't. He was generous, kind, respectful. He listened. He cared. He never treated her like she was temporary. Ironically, that made everything worse. She loved a good man who kept making terrible decisions. Love alone could not fix that. Weeks later, Melissa was cleaning the living room when Nathan's phone buzzed on the coffee table. She wasn't the type to invade anyone's privacy. She reached for it only to silence the ringing. A message appeared on the lock screen. "I can't keep waiting forever. I love you, but I need peace." Melissa froze. Her hands trembled. Her heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear herself breathe. She didn't unlock the phone. She didn't need to. She already knew.
That evening, after Ava had gone to bed, Melissa sat quietly in the living room. Nathan walked in. "You haven't gone to sleep?" She looked at him. Her eyes were calm. Too calm. "Who is she?" Nathan stopped breathing for a moment. "What?" "The woman." Silence. He slowly sat down. She held up a hand. "Please. No lies. No excuses. No half-truths. Just tell me." Nathan felt tears burning behind his eyes. "I met someone." Melissa closed her eyes. "For how long?" "Over a year." Her lips quivered. "A year?" He nodded. "I never wanted to hurt you." She let out a heartbreaking laugh. "And yet, you did." Nathan lowered his head. "I'm sorry." Melissa wiped away tears. "I gave you my youth, my loyalty, my trust. I built a family with you. If you had fallen out of love with me, I could have accepted that. But you let me continue loving someone who had already given part of his heart away." Nathan couldn't defend himself. There was no defense. Melissa packed a small suitcase the following morning. Nathan watched helplessly. Ava looked confused. "Mommy, are we going on vacation?" Melissa knelt beside her daughter. "We're just going to stay with Grandma for a while." Ava looked at Nathan. "Daddy's coming?" Melissa couldn't answer. Nathan hugged his daughter tightly. "I love you more than anything." "I love you too, Daddy." As they drove away, Nathan stood alone in the driveway. The silence was unbearable. A few days later, Nathan went to see Jasmine. He knocked on her apartment door. She smiled sadly when she saw him. "You told her." "I did." "And?" "She left." Jasmine looked down. "I'm sorry." Nathan reached for her hand. "I can finally be with you." She gently stepped back. Nathan frowned. "What?" Tears filled Jasmine's eyes. I can't. His heart dropped. What do you mean? I spent over a year waiting for you. I defended you. I believed in you. I ignored my own pain because I thought one day we'd finally have a real beginning. She wiped away tears, but while you were deciding, I lost myself. Nathan felt panic rising. I've chosen now. She shook her head. No. You chose after losing everything. I needed someone who could choose me before it was too late. Nathan stood speechless. I love you, he whispered. I know. I'll probably always love you. But love shouldn't feel like waiting in a hallway while someone decides which door to open. Nathan's eyes filled with tears. I've ruined everything. Jasmine nodded sadly. Yes, but that doesn't mean either of us has to keep ruining our future. She kissed his forehead gently, then closed the door. Nathan remained standing there for a long time, listening to the silence. For the first time in years, he was completely alone. Months passed. Nathan rented a small apartment near Ava's school. Melissa agreed to let him see his daughter often because, despite everything, he had always been a loving father. Every weekend, Ava ran into his arms just like she always had. Those moments became the brightest part of his life. But when she returned home with Melissa, the apartment felt empty again. Melissa slowly rebuilt herself. She returned to university and completed the business degree she had postponed years earlier while supporting Nathan's dreams. Soon, she accepted a management position with a respected company. She found confidence she had forgotten she possessed. She smiled more. She laughed without pretending. Most importantly, she discovered that happiness didn't have to depend on someone else choosing her. She had already chosen herself. Jasmine also embraced a new beginning. She accepted an international career opportunity. She had almost declined while waiting for Nathan. She traveled, met new people, built lasting friendships. She poured her energy into mentoring young women entering the corporate world, encouraging them never to lose themselves for love. Her heart healed gradually. The memories remained, but the pain no longer controlled her. She finally found peace. Jasmine also embraced a new beginning. She accepted an international career opportunity. She had almost declined while waiting for Nathan. She traveled, met new people, built lasting friendships. She poured her energy into mentoring young women entering the corporate world, encouraging them never to lose themselves for love. Her heart healed gradually. The memories remained, but the pain no longer controlled her. She finally found peace. Nathan often sat on a park bench watching the sunset after dropping Ava home. He thought about the life he once had. He remembered Melissa's unwavering loyalty. He remembered Jasmine's unwavering patience. He realized that neither woman had failed him. He had failed them both. Not because he loved two people, but because he lacked the courage to make an honest decision when it mattered most. By trying to keep everyone, he ended up losing everything he feared losing. The greatest lesson of his life came too late. Love isn't measured by how many hearts you can hold. It's measured by the honesty and responsibility you bring to the heart you choose. Nathan never stopped loving his daughter. He worked hard to become a better father and a better man. He learned that redemption begins not with excuses, but with accountability. And although he carried regret, he also carried hope that one day his actions would reflect the wisdom his mistakes had taught him. As the sun dipped below the horizon, he smiled softly. Not because life had turned out the way he wanted, but because the people he once hurt had finally found the happiness they deserved. Love without honesty eventually becomes pain. Delaying difficult decisions often hurts everyone involved. True love requires courage, commitment, and respect, not selfishness or indecision. Choosing integrity over comfort protects hearts, while greed and fear can cost the very people who once made life meaningful and full of hope.